Hello, I am the Prophet Driller of Drillimation Systems and the director of our newest game that I will present to you, Touhou 3, the Phantasmagoria of Dimensional Dreams NES Demake. As you can see, I am back at home. Normally I would be at the Hearst recording this, but since I dropped out and now have a full-time job doing tech support, things ended up changing. So, if you thought I would be working on game dev full-time, you thought wrong. I got this job so that I could fund Drillimation and expand into new ventures. Every 2 weeks, one of Drillimation's tweets on Twitter will get promoted in order to increase viewership and hopefully attract more subscribers. The third Touhou Project game, the Phantasmagoria of Dimensional Dreams, is finally on PC now. I announced this back in May when I was unboxing my new gaming keyboard, if you saw that video, and I released the trailer for it last month, and things have changed. Incidentally, that video was published on Hardcliff's birthday. Before we begin, I would like to introduce you to the game and its background first. So, what is the Phantasmagoria of Dimensional Dreams anyway? The game was originally released on the NEC PC-98 in December 1997. It's a versus shooter that plays similar to Twinkle Star Sprites on the Neo Geo, which released earlier, but there is more Danmaku. The only other game in the Touhou project to take that gameplay is the Phantasmagoria of Flower View, which released in 2005. However, I kept hearing voices from the other side of the world, including some of the thoughts from Nintendo's most powerful designers. Shigeru Miyamoto might probably be saying, "Dorita-sama, you must port the PC-98 Touhou games to PC and eventually Switch." However, we had to downgrade the graphics and music to fit the Famicom Disk System, which many of you know as the Nintendo Entertainment System. We were concerned about accessibility, so we made the game in Game Maker Studio 2 as with the previous Demake as a way to reach such a big audience. Without further ado, let's get into the big picture. As I mentioned in previous videos, we are playing the development version of the ROM, so there may be some things that may differ from the version that you have at home. Just the same intro as the previous two games. Anyway, that long wait is finally over. I'm using the same pre-rendered graphics that I used for Touhou Jotai 2 for the character designs, but one thing you'll notice right away is the eye style is different. Like in the original, you can play 1 or 2 players, but we're interested in playing the 1-player mode for the purpose of this video. We are not playing arcade mode, but if you played the original, you probably know how that mode plays out. So, to show off different characters and attacks, we are playing the free play mode for the purpose of this video. One difference you'll point out right away is that all of the characters are unlocked from the start. Previously in the original, you had to lock Chiyuri and Yumemi, but you do not have to do that in this version. It's simply pick up and play. Another noteworthy difference in the character select screen is we've added Kagami Ochiai, who is a playable character in the Touhou Jotai games, and was also the Stage 3 boss in the second Touhou Project NES Demake for the Story of Eastern Wonderland. We've added that character for balancing reasons as we needed a character with balanced stats, which the original did not have. We're already in the game. I'm playing Reimu while the CPU I'm playing against is Marissa. One major difference you'll notice right away is the difficulty settings have been dropped. To ensure we could get this into the esports scene, we had to remove that feature, but most of the attacks are the same. Another major difference you'll notice right away is the backgrounds that scroll. The original did not have this, so we implemented it, meaning it looks a lot like the Phantasmagoria Flower View. Another difference you'll see is how many shots they fire when you push the fire button. For example, Marissa shoots 4 while Reimu shoots only 1. Another thing I want to get into is the special attacks. Obviously, due to the limitations of the graphical hardware, we had to cap the maximum level of power and boss attacks to 9 instead of 16. But either way, the mechanics largely remain the same. Another noteworthy difference you'll probably see right away is that all matches are timed over a course of 3 rounds. There was no time limit in the original, and we added one because we didn't want matches running on like a game of Quidditch where the game won't end because somebody couldn't catch the snitch. We really didn't want matches to last 3 months because somebody couldn't kill their opponent. Lastly, I'm playing as Kagami Ochiai from Touhou Jotai, pitting her off against Reimu just like in the second Demake. Some of you probably wanted to know what Kagami looks like if she were a playable character in the original. The previous 2 Demakes are not direct ports from their PC-98 counterparts, and we did give them some additional features. We were going to include an online mode in this game, but we gave up on that due to complicated programming circumstances. An alternative to that is remote play, which both Touhou Jotai games on Steam support. hope you enjoyed this video, but I also have some Drillimation related news, which you may see in the autumn edition of the State of the Prophet Driller next week. Up until now, we've created at least 5 games now, 2 of which are originals for Steam, being the Touhou Project games of course. We gather ideas from games old and new, and we like to compile them into a single product. Now that I think about it, it's been 3 years now since the first Drillimation game, Touhou Project 1, was in development. I'm guessing this is part of my life's work, before that may eventually end up at Nintendo someday. We have 2 more Demakes to get done, and I have something exciting news for you. The next Touhou Project NES Demake, being Loda's Land Story, has entered pre-production, and I hope to get it released by the first quarter of 2022. In addition, we also have another mystery game in development which will be due for release on Steam in October 2022. It will be a while before that game is announced. Because I don't live at the Hearst anymore, I will have to complete it all at home. Until then, see you next week.